Welcome to the video. We've got a lot to talk about today. All right, there's a bunch going on here. We're going to talk about the bucket in your body, and then the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the graph, periodization, progressive overload, autoregulation, and lifestyle and stress management, and it all comes into one. Okay, very, very important here. All right, so this is kind of a graphic of your body. All right, you have a bucket of water that represents your body. Now, the more water you put into the bucket, your water is going to be your restful sleep, your good nutrition, and how much that you practice recovery methods. Okay, now that gives your body energy. Now, what depletes your body and your mind of energy is training, school and work, and stress, which school and work and training are stress, but you get the point. So we put energy into our body, we put water into our body with sleep, nutrition, recovery, and training, schoolwork, and stress deplete our body of that energy. Okay, so the goal here is to keep your bucket as full as possible. All right. Now, we want to balance this as much as we can. Of course, we get off track sometimes and things happen, but we want to make sure that this is taken care of, all right? Because if you're stressed too much, if you're working too much and you're training too hard and your nutrition sucks, you're not getting much sleep and recovery is non-existent, then you will burn out eventually, okay? So by keeping your bucket full, your performance goes up, energy goes up, your clarity, your awareness, among other things, and this is supposed to be a down arrow, your chance of burnout and injury go down. Okay, obviously that's important. Okay, so with that being said, this leads kind of into what I program for my clients. Now, usually we operate in 3 to 4 week blocks, which is training blocks, which means for 3 to 4 weeks we have the same training program. So week to week, you're doing similar exercises, similar movement patterns, but the intensity goes up week after week. Okay, for example, on week 1, we started at a certain level, and then, so say week 1, Monday, we have a certain workout. Week 2, the next week on Monday, it's the same workout, but it might be more reps, it might be more weight, it might be less rest periods, so forth. Okay, so a little bit more intensity than the previous week, and it keeps going up to week 4. Okay, now here's the thing, and all this ties in together. This goes back to the bucket as well. So we work our way up to a peak of week 4. Okay, now what happens after week 4? Now, what many people get wrong, not even that they are keeping track of what week they're on, they kind of just play around in this space that is not, that you're not tracking, that you're not monitoring, you don't have a solid foundation or a solid routine, right? So their stress is way up. They're kind of just hanging out in no man's land with no structured program, right? So after week 4, and even if you do have a structured program, you need to make sure that you taper off after a certain amount of intensity is accumulated over the past few weeks. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, the workouts are pretty hard at this point, and we have life stuff going on, all the things. You can't just hang out at this intensity for too long. So what you have to do is, and what my job as a coach is to make sure that you taper off and we reprogram for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, we drop down back to week 1 with a whole new exercise program with different movement patterns and so forth, and we build back up to week 4, and we drop down and do the same thing. So the idea here is that we're at week 1 here, down here, and then as we get to week 1 here, we're just a little bit higher and a little bit more. We've got gained a little bit more progress than the previous week 1, okay? And that is kind of the graph that you see here. So make sure that you know that your success and your progress is not going to be linear. You're going to go up and down. You're going to hit the peaks. You're going to hit the valleys. But as long as we are on that upward trajectory and we are making progress long term, that's the main goal. okay? So that's what this kind of is. We want to build up and then taper off a little bit to recover, give our body a little bit of a break, and then we build back up, and that goes for life, right? That is constant. That's in perpetuity, okay? Now, up here, periodization is just the idea that your program has periods, and it's cyclical, all right? Just like life itself, most things in life, it's going to be cyclical, all right? We have four seasons in a year, change every 3 to 4 months. The market is cyclical, up and down. The high school and collegiate athletic programs work in cycles. You have the off season, in season, summer, and so forth, right? So this is kind of what you'd want for your life, because what you don't realize, what you may not realize, is that this whole thing is a lifestyle and stress management. So you're not just taking on an exercise program, you're not just trying to clean up your diet a little bit, you are literally monitoring everything about your lifestyle, and everything that you do during your day is a stressor. Whether it's good or bad, it's accumulated, and you have to put that somewhere, okay? So, and by the way, your body recognizes stress the same way, whether it's mental stress that we commonly think of, or it's physical stress of training. Training is good, but it's also a stressor, okay? So now progressive overload here is exactly what we just mentioned with 1, 2, 3, 4. We're progressively overloading our body to produce a stimulus, okay? That's what we want. We want muscle growth, we want fat loss, we want to perform better, the whole thing. Progressively overloading our body is what's going to do that, okay? And like I said, the progressive overload is from week to week, it's going to be maybe more weight, maybe more reps, maybe more time, maybe less rest periods. There's many factors that go into that, okay? Now, autoregulation, what this means is as you get more in tune with your body, you learn more about yourself, and me as a coach, my job is to help you with this, which is workout to workout, week to week, is making sure that your programming looks correct. And if it doesn't, we can kind of adjust on the fly. So what that means is, say on week 1 we started at a certain intensity, and then week 2 is good, and maybe you have a tweak somewhere or some type of pain or injury, for example. Now week 3 might be progressed, but if week 2 something happens and you're feeling something maybe in your knee on week 3, then we're not going to do barbell squats 5 sets of 5 at 85% type thing, right? So me as your coach, that's something that needs to be communicated, and we can auto-regulate that, right? So it basically means we don't always have to do what is on the program, all right? Programs change often based on lots of stuff, right? So I hope that makes sense. Like I said, all in all, it's just this whole thing is a lifestyle and stress management cycle, okay? So keep that in mind. I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. And let me know if you have any questions, and talk to you soon. Real quick, last thing about autoregulation. By the way, I'm almost blind. I have these glasses and they make my head look weird. So with autoregulation, 2 points I want to make about trips and vacations. So trips, weekend trips, quick trips, fun trips, work trips, whatever it is, not a big deal, part of life. But what would bring autoregulation to this is because you're not at home, you're not in your normal gym space. You would maybe do a hotel room workout or a hotel fitness center workout, something like that, and then do the best you can with your diet, right? That's just an example of autoregulation. Vacations are similar, although they're more like a normal program regulation, because they are planned, they're coming, they're longer, bigger events, and these are part of life as well. But the thing is, the best thing that you would do is preemptively plan your program to where the prior week or 2 leading up to the vacation, you really nail it down, your workouts get more intense, your diet is on point, so that when you get to your vacation, you feel wonderful. You don't feel guilty for indulging and being lazy and so forth. Although you can do a little something if you want to, of course, but that's just a part of it, right? So keep that in mind. That is really good, important advice for people's mental as well. So hope that helps, and I will talk to you soon. See ya.